going on with your tribe? We just here chilling real quick in the grow. Go over a couple things that I did in my last run, which I believe caused the harms on my last run. I think I was just doing too much when I should have just sticking to the normal routine. I was using Dr. Earth. And Dr. Earth, that's a good brand. It's a good brand, but I believe it's a good brand when you're not overdoing it. The fertilizers, the all-purpose, and the flour kind of already got everything in it that you need. So I was still adding extra stuff in it, and that's what I believe caused my plants to herm out. I had about eight, 9 plants total, and just about all of them hermed. Really all of them hermed. Had to throw one away. Really a lot I had to throw away, obviously, because it was a lot of seeds. I did get a little bit of good bud, so I'm definitely grateful for that though. But this next run I did switch it up. I went to a different brand, just because they had more of what I was looking for, and then everything that I wanted to use was already mixed in, so that way I don't gotta overdo nothing. So we're just gonna talk about what I used, and probably what was the main cause of it. So the Dr. Earth already got the fishbone meal, and a lot of stuff like that in here already. Potassium and the sulfate and kelp and stuff like that in here already. This is just the all-purpose. You still got the veg one, and then you still got the bloom. Along with those, the all-purpose and the veg and the bloom, I was still adding additional. All right, so we back. Now, before we had our technical difficulties, like I said, we was going over what the extra stuff that I was using. So on top of the fertilizer and all of the fish bones and all the extra stuff that was already in the fertilizer, I was using extra fish bone meal on top of extra night. So I did notice a little burn. It was almost in the same areas on the same plants. I kind of thought it was just the fan that was doing it, just from the, how where the locations of the burns was and how the fan was hitting them. So I thought it was the fan, but I did also have a second guess, like maybe I am doing too much. But like I said, I did also think it was the fan, so I really didn't think I was doing too much. The bud did come out real super frosty. It did have good terpene profiles on it still, even though they did harm. It's actually still pretty decent bud. Actually, got some of it now. So, it wasn't too bad, but like I said, the plants did harm. So I'm just stepping away from using the extra Lagbianite and the extra fishbone meal. And then I really just switched up the brand, period. I was using Gaia Green as well as Dr. Earth, but that's another video in its own and how that goes. But now, if you've seen my previous videos, I'm using the Pride Lands now, which they got everything I was trying to use, like the Lagbianite, the fishbone meal, even some stuff I ain't heard of before, like biochar. So that kind of sounds cool to see how that works out. So, but that was just my experiences with Dr. Earth. Like I said, when you're not using the extra fishbone meal and the extra Lagbianite, and you just using the 222 and the flour and the veg strictly, it's actually good stuff, because I've used it for a couple runs now. But then I started adding the extra stuff in, and boom, that's when it happened. So that's pretty much my main guess as far as what happened and why I got the harms. Because like I said, it was all the plants, and I was doing it to all the plants. Every plant got it. I didn't just leave half of the plants did and then see what happens to the other ones. I kind of did it as a whole. And then I had a lot of plants. There was a lot going on at the same time, so I just wasn't really checking up on it when I should have been. And then like I said, it was really just all of the plants. So when I did start catching it, at that point, it was a little bit too late. I did trim up a lot of it just to try to keep it down, or as far as I didn't have that much to do as far as when harvested though. But I did harvest a decent amount, not complaining too much. Like I said, the terpene profile was actually still pretty decent, still good looking buds and stuff like that. I did have to throw away a whole plant. It was relatively small though, and then like a lot of other bottom buds and stuff like that, just because a lot of seeds though. But Moral of the story is, man, don't overdo it. You know, just use what they giving you, man. You're trying to get the extra stuff. The extra stuff is already in the fertilizers that y'all using for the most part, you know. So, you know, just like I said, don't overdo it, especially when you're just growing with organics. You know, the synthetics I don't really know too much about. But when you're just using the organics, man, a lot of that stuff already got a lot what you're looking for in it already. So just look at the ingredients and look at everything and before you start using extra stuff. So that's what I would suggest though. But that's just what I just had to want to tell y'all about my experiences with the most recent Dr. Earth run I had. Well, like I said, it's not them. It was me doing more than what I should have been, you know. So don't do no more. Just stick to the script, y'all. If you're gonna get what y'all want. We out.